Believing in yourself. How to believe in yourself. What is believing in yourself? So first things first, I'm here to suggest and advise information and not to tell you guys what to do. So that being said, believing in yourself to me and what I want to suggest and advise to you all is knowing. So being sure, being certain, understanding. When it comes to knowing, you want to understand. So when it comes to believing in yourself, you want to be able to experience, you want to be able to open your mind, you don't want to be limitless. So when it comes to believing in yourself, you want to have a foundation, you want to be stable. So believing in yourself is being stable. Believing in yourself is having a foundation in yourself. Believing in yourself is being true to yourself. Believing in yourself is understanding what is your truth, how does it make you true in existing. So believing in yourself could have a form of confidence. Believing in yourself could be knowing your abilities, knowing your strengths. Believing in yourself is to trust what you say and you do about how you feel, and that anything that you put your mind to, anything that you... Sorry, you guys, I smelled this because I sprayed Lysol by my water. I just want to make sure there's none in it. If not, I'm drinking Lysol. Okay. But just making sure that you trust yourself and that anything that you go through is to better yourself. Like, ask yourself, what does it mean to believe in yourself? A lot of people think success and a lot of other words that are adjectives that describe emotional feelings means different, things to people. So in order for you to interpret it, what does it mean to you? Believing in myself is just knowing that I am awake right now. Believing in yourself is not only for you to determine, but what I want to suggest and advise is knowing your worth. Like, be realistic with yourself. Surround yourself with things that make you feel like you're worthy of, like you can trust yourself. The reason why I suggest and advise that people learn how to believe in themselves is because you have to be true to yourself. What I've noticed with a lot of people, and I'm not excluded, but one thing that I've had to realize about myself is I communicate based off of how I feel and what I see, like a lot of people do. But when you are so, let's just say, independent, I will say that, to a point where it's obvious that you're independent, that's how it's going to come across. You get around people who are not as independent as you or opposite, it's easier to see the difference, the similarities, and the disconnects you have with people, places, and things. So believing in yourself, what I want to suggest and advise is having a form of independence, not to the point where it has to be hyperly independent, but to the point where you're active of what you have to offer with yourself and not to other people. Like, being true to yourself is not being afraid to say how you feel because of what other people may think or how it comes across. Being considerate of someone's emotions, feelings, or thoughts is an option. And the reason why I'm saying it's optional is because everyone does not have to accommodate to your needs or wants just as much as mine. That's why I suggest and advise information. I'm not going to just give you my opinion unless it is asked or I feel as though I think it may be beneficial. And once again, I'm saying the word I a lot because when it comes to believing in yourself, you have to acknowledge what makes you passionate. Like, the reason why it's so important to be aware of yourself, the reason why I am able to say the things that I know is because of how I carry myself and how I view myself. And that's I believe in myself. Me believing in myself isn't just about me having accomplishments or physical material items. So when it comes to believing in yourself, the efforts that you make for yourself are going to benefit you. You want to be able to trust what you say about yourself because not only is it true and it matches your reality, but you're living in that truth. Like, when it comes to telling the truth, when it comes to just being real, you don't have to explain that. You don't have to go out your way to do certain things. You don't have to because it is obvious. And if people are not able to see something that's obvious, not to you, but in general, then it's not meant for them to see. That's why there are a lot of people in the world who do not look physically, emotionally, or financially alike. I don't think no one should want to look like the next person because if everybody looks the same, nobody is themselves. Now, you don't have to go out your way trying to like change your physical appearance or change what you eat or how you talk, but you want to have interest in yourself. Now, if you share a common interest with other people, there are enough people in the world where things can be repetitive or things can be shared and not feel any type of way because it's mutual. But when it comes to you believing in yourself, because when it comes to you believing in yourself, what I want to suggest and advise, you have to believe in yourself before anybody else believes in you. If you don't believe in yourself, what I've realized is that some people who are aware of that, they will use it against you or try to hold it, over your head. And the goal in life is not to be used against or for people to hold information or think that they can hold information about you. The goal in life is for you to be okay with what you are and who you are, regardless of what they think or whatever they try to do. Like a lot of people, I can only speak for myself because that's what I like to do. I like to speak from experience. I don't like to tell people what to do or how to feel. That's why I use natural resources. That's why I use the internet. I use books, dictionaries. It doesn't matter. Anything that has information is going to be teachable, however you choose to give that an example or if it's your actual real experience. But like, I think it's really important for people to become comfortable with themselves and believing in themselves, because if, like I, was stating, if you're not aware of who you are and what you want to be, other people will try their best. And that's what man is. That's what physical is. That's what the flesh is. That's what the ego is. Like, a lot of people live in their ego. A lot of people live in their flesh. A lot of people live in their body and not realize that their body is just a physical vessel. So it's like, if you allow people to listen to things that are not you, to interject or project how they feel about you and what your reality is supposed to be, you're not going to be able to believe in yourself or be true to yourself. A lot of people, because they're not believing in themselves and they don't believe in themselves, they will listen to other people. They will allow other people place and things, put limits on them that are not even theirs. Like a lot of people growing up, I never like paid attention to it until I got older, like in my 20s. A lot of people used to project about how they felt towards me. And as a full-blown or a young lady now, I'm aware of this, and even early in my 20s, but like, I never looked at it as projecting because, like I said, how I've always been, and I'm grateful for my attitude because me being who I am is the reason why I'm here right now. But because I had this attitude and because I am who I say I am and I don't try to be nothing more, nothing less, I was able to realize that the reason why I didn't say anything when I was younger was because one, is not my business, and two, like, I can explain something to somebody, I can show something to somebody. If they don't believe it for themselves, me trying to convince somebody or me trying to force somebody to understand something is not going to work. People can only see themselves how they see them. So, like, if I tell someone that you're the most beautiful person in the world, you're loving because that's how I feel and think about myself, and they don't feel and think about themselves highly, someone who is aware of themselves to me and how I see myself, me telling them that, it's not going to change anything. And that's why I've learned to, trust myself, believe in myself, do things that I know that I'm able to accomplish, not to prove a point, but for myself. Like, are you working on your business to prove a point to society, or are you doing it for yourself? Because it's like, when you learn to believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks or says about you. And I've always had this attitude, and I'm grateful, and I'm going to continue to have this attitude. Like, everything has pros and cons. Like, having an ego could be beneficial to you. It could be negative. Being aware of yourself, it could be beneficial. It could be negative. Believing in yourself, I don't think it's going to be negative. I'm just going to suggest and advise that, because if you don't believe in yourself, or I'll say this, if you believe in yourself, it could be positive. If you don't believe in yourself, it will be negative, because if you trust yourself, then you know what you're capable of and what you're not. Like, something that I seen recently was Tyler, the Creator, and he made a post about how he knew what he was going to be doing in 3 months and 3 years. The people around him don't know, and that's the same thing with me. Like, when people try to figure me out or they think they know something, it's just like, I'm not oversharing any of the information, because you're so used to people, playing you or trying you, or you not even trusting yourself. When people show up who they are, people are in denial. There is no magic trick, but you gotta learn how to believe in yourself, because when you do believe in yourself, then confidently you respect yourself. I don't need to be like, but I do demand respect, because I respect myself and I respect everybody. Like, it's not a front when you really carry yourself in a certain way that people try to maintain. Because when you try to maintain something like an image, you have to go through hoops, fires, hurdles, trials, and tribulations, when you could just show up as you. I'm not about to put myself in any situations that I'm not meant to be in, because I've already done that. Like, that's the purpose of learning in life, and that's being true to yourself. But when you are not, taking care of yourself, when you're not acknowledging the good in your life, when you're not being realistic with yourself, you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to have negative energies. You're going to allow people, places, and things to, make you feel as like you're not doing this. And that's why people go through identity crisis and are lost mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It could be even financially. Because believing in yourself is you knowing what works for you and how it makes you feel. Like, that's why I tell you guys all the time on this channel, I suggest and advise information. I'm not going to validate how you feel, but anybody who's coming across here, we're here to educate ourselves. I'm here to inspire and uplift. That's all that I'm here to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to feel, because like I've stated, even these videos I make, people can watch the videos. If they're not learning or applying it or seeing how it affects with them, how it resonates with them, if it does or doesn't resonate with them, they just watch the video. And tomorrow will be Sunday, I think April 17th, 2022. The world's going to continue to exist. So when it comes to believing in yourself, take your time, knowing that, for me, confidence is telling the truth. Like, all these words are just words, okay? And for those of you who are supernaturally aware of your spirit and, that have been on that journey and, are at that point in your life, you already know the drill. For those of you who are coming across this channel and you're wanting to learn about your spirituality, you got to be patient with yourself. And you have to realize that it's like a light switch. It is like a path that people have to be willing to take. Like, it's one thing to talk about something, but are you aligned with who it is that you want to be? Like, that's something I had to realize. Like, I have to align myself, and it is from alphabetical order. Anything that you do, you want to have structure. You want it to be done correctly, because that's like taking a test. That's like studying for a test and then taking a test. And it's like, when you actually study something, you have no reason to not pass the test. If you actually practice in doing what you're supposed to do accordingly, like specifically, you have no reason to not pass. You may not get it on the first time, but if you are doing what needs to be applied, you're going to pass. Is when you're saying something, you're not doing what you're saying, that's when you fail. It's when you're saying you're studying and you're not doing any research. So take your time and know that when it comes to believing in yourself, you have the ability and the skills and the passions, and you want to be passionate too, to accomplish anything in your life. Because believing is just you knowing that you are assured with yourself and you inspire direction. Even if it takes 5 or 10 years to do whatever it is that needs to be done. There's no timeline when you're doing something the right way. Is when you attach yourself to people, places, and things, labels, and items that have... So my camera got cut off, but don't attach yourself to anything in this world. And that's what I'm going to end the video off. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Live your life. Don't forget to say YOLO. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram and Twitter at @Ty_guidance to stay up to date. And make sure that you click and watch the video on the screen right now to stay up to date. And until next time, you guys, peace.